Hello YouTubers, my name is Frederick Lopez and I hope all of you out there right now are having a happy Cinco de Mayo. In honor of Cinco de Mayo, I thought I would go over a new My Favorite segment, and today I'm going to be going over my top 10 personal favorite Robert Rodriguez films. Now this is just my personal preference, and instead of it being like least favorite to most favorite, it's more about films that I like more, love, and just love more. All of his films are fantastic. He's really proven himself as an independent filmmaker. He will join the ranks of like John Carpenter, Quentin Tarantino. He really comes from that wave of 90s independent film, and also an inspiration to me in becoming a filmmaker myself. Number 10 would be From Dusk Till Dawn from 1996. I love From Dusk Till Dawn, the film. George Clooney's first acting role. You also have vampires, and Quentin Tarantino writing the screenplay. It is a terrific film, and the fact that it's similar to Predator, where it starts off as this one type of movie. It's a crime film the first half of the movie. They must get across the border, go to the titty twister. What happens? The place goes crazy and it becomes a vampire horror film. Such a great shift in genre, much like the first Predator with Dutch and them going on a rescue mission and then turning out that there's a predator after them and it becomes a survival movie afterwards. So much like Predator, From Dusk Till Dawn really is two separate films in one film. And I like the crime element just a little bit more than the vampire element, but the vampire element's pretty cool. It's faithful to the old rules, yet does something completely original and unique that differentiates itself from other vampire horror films. Plus, you got Selma Hayek as Santanico Pandemonium. Wow. That snake dance scene is one of the most iconic scenes, and George Clooney just kills it as Seth Gecko. Everybody be cool. You be cool. Love that opening. Michael Parks as a sheriff. Just everything about that movie. Cheech playing multiple roles. All around, it's a very enjoyable film. Above that, at my number 9, would be Planet Terror. Yes, Robert Rodriguez directed the Planet Terror segment of the film Grindhouse. I really love Planet Terror. It's done in the same vein as From Dusk Till Dawn, but it's with a zombie outbreak. Big stars like Bruce Willis, Josh Brolin, you have Freddie Rodriguez as El Rey, Michael Biehn, Tom Savini, Rose McGowan, just a whole bunch of people in this film, and I love it. It remains true to the grindhouse nature of films, but it also has a very intriguing story, great score. All around, the film just kicks ass. I just love it. It flows very well, and it's just an enjoyable B-movie. I love Planet Terror. It takes it back to some of the films from the 70s, while also adding that Robert Rodriguez edge that you see in films like Once Upon a Time, Mexico, Machete, or Desperado. I mean, a woman loses her leg and then uses a machine gun for a leg. If that is not badass, then I don't know what is. Number 8 on my list is actually a TV-made movie, a very rare one that was made, I think, for Showtime, but it's a film called Road Racers. I really love this hidden gem of a Robert Rodriguez film. Stars David Arquette and Selma Hayek. It is an awesome film. It's basically like in the 50s. It's greaser stuff, and it's just awesome. If you want to see what like Grease would be like if it wasn't a musical and it was done serious, like Rebel Without a Cause, and then like the element of like Desperado, then Road Racers is your movie. I really like David Arquette in this role. I also like, what's his name? William Sadler as the villain. He does such a great job, and then I love that mix of the music and then the stylistic with the Dutch angles, and that part where it's just like the shadow knows, and it's playing with the score. All around a very stylistic movie that is really a precursor to how you would see Rodriguez direct Sin City. It has a similar vibe to Sin City, but in color and a little bit lower budget. All around, it's fantastic for a TV movie. It doesn't even feel like a TV-made movie. It feels like an actual film. And it's just fantastic. If you have not seen Road Racers, find it on a limited Blu-ray or DVD. Anywhere, find Road Racers and give it a try. I once saw it on Showtime and is among one of my favorite underrated films of Robert Rodriguez. Number 7 on my list is Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. Oh my god, I waited so long for a sequel to Sin City, and it delivered. However, it was a bit shorter, but despite that, I really loved the film. It was done very well. They improved upon the technology created in the original, And very few sequels can be as good or just as enjoyable as the first, but Sin City: A Dame to Kill For is a total joyride. The only thing I wish is that Clive Owen would have been free from the Nick to play his character Dwight. But other than that, Josh Brolin does a great job. Everett Green is fantastic as the villain. One of my favorite films from 2014. She was a villain in both 300 Rise of an Empire and Sin City: A Dame to Kill For, two Frank Miller adaptations. Robert Rodriguez basically makes a live-action comic book again. Frank Miller's writing. He also adds an extra story with Jessica Alba's character of Nancy. And there's some great reprise roles from Bruce Willis, Rosario Dawson. All around, it fits after, during, and before Sin City, and it completes the experience you felt in the first movie. Sin City: A Dame to Kill For is amazing. The way it's shot and everything, the character of Nancy being further progressed, and then also you have freaking Skin City by Aerosmith playing. Oh my god, that is such an awesome song in the dance scene. And then you also have Mickey Rourke as Marv. He does such a fantastic job. It's nice to see his character back. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And Powers Booth is just the ultimate evil bad guy. I mean, besides Tombstone in the first Sin City, he really proves it in A Dame to Kill For. It's one of my favorite Robert Rodriguez films. Number 6 on my list is El Mariachi, Robert Rodriguez's first film, the first in the Mexico trilogy. Carlos Gallardo plays the role of the mariachi before they got Antonio Banderas. And this was actually made for the Spanish market as a throwaway film. It wasn't going to be the big budget one. This is kind of the experiment. But you know, for just being an experiment, Robert Rodriguez showed his talent, and not only that, he made a damn good, enjoyable film. I loved it. I mean, it was guerrilla filmmaking at its best, independent film at its very best. He saved up his own money, went to do medicine testing and stuff, and tested out like placebos and real medicines, got that money, went with Carlos Gallardo. They made El Mariachi, and they did it on a cheap budget. Kept going through distributor to distributor until Columbia Pictures purchased it, and it was at the Sundance Film Festival, as well as Quentin Tarantino's film Reservoir Dogs. You can read about the making of this film in the book Rebel Without a Crew. I highly recommend this novel by Robert Rodriguez. He made it with $7,000, and he was only 23 years old. Quite an amazing feat, but he really gives some good life lessons that can go beyond being a filmmaker. Just all-around life lessons that you can learn as an individual. I highly recommend it. Check out Rebel Without a Crew when you get a chance. But yeah, an amazing story. Moko, the villain. Azul, a guy who just got out, who's looking for revenge against Moko. And you pretty much have the mariachi and Azul get confused. A guitar case. Such a basic human story, and again, it shows you what you can do when you use what you have. This is just a taste of things to come from Robert Rodriguez. Number 5 on my list would be The Faculty, written by Kevin Williamson, the writer of Scream, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. I actually quite like this. I like Robert Patrick's role, Jon Stewart, Salma Hayek. It has a very John Carpenter vibe, as well as like the 50s horror films. If something about it feels so old-fashioned and refreshing. You have Josh Hartnett, Jordana Brewster, Elijah Wood, a whole bunch of great actors and actresses, Famke Jensen. All around, just if you like any of the 80s movies or the 50s movies, any high school movie, any alien movies, check out The Faculty. I wish they would have a 10-minute film school or more special features on The Faculty. Hopefully it gets a Shout Factory release or Dimension Films decides to release it. I know people have mixed emotions about this film, but it is among one of my favorite Robert Rodriguez films. Oh my god, The Train. And yeah, definitely check it out. It is among one of my favorites, and I first saw it and I fell in love with the film. I saw it on a Halloween and I had no idea Robert Rodriguez directed it. I mean, no wonder it was so good. But yeah, if you definitely like a whole bunch of science fiction horror films, go check out The Faculty. It's full of twists with really great storytelling and effects. It's pretty much like a modern Invasion of the Body Snatchers with that John Carpenter, Robert Rodriguez edge. Number 4 on my list would probably be the original Spy Kids. I love this film. I saw it as a child, and not only is it good as a children's film, but it's actually one of the few children's films that's not treated as a children's film. It's treated like a regular spy movie. It feels something like James Bond or Mission Impossible, the level of stakes and intensity, while still being suitable for children. I love it. Antonio Banderas, Carla Gugino, Cheech Marin, Danny Trejo, all around just great cast. Terry Hatcher, and then you have and then Mr. Floop, yeah, and then Robert Patrick back. Nightcrawler is Mr. Floop. I love the movie. The Thumb People, the effects is very original. but also like the story. Very few movies have an Hispanic family, and Robert Rodriguez based the movie upon his own family and had the idea while making a short for the film Four Rooms. I love this movie. It is an enjoyable film, and all around it's just fun entertainment for the whole family, and one of my favorite spy films. It feels very modern, and it's nice to see a certain identity represented, and you don't even think of it as an Hispanic family. I mean, it's almost like James Bond. It doesn't come across to you that he's a British guy. He just is James Bond, and these are just spy kids. Ethnicity, race, age, none of that matters. They're the spy kids. Carmen and Junie, and something about that is very rare to find in film and also in the world, to find a story that anybody can relate to. Number 3 on my list is Desperado from 1995. Robert Rodriguez's follow-up to El Mariachi. I love this film. Introduced the world to Antonio Banderas and brought Salma Hayek to the world. Wow. Wow. I think every person in the world, every man at least, after seeing Desperado probably had a crush on Salma Hayek. I just love the action hero element of it. Antonio Banderas is a very good person for the role, and Salma Hayek's good. They originally wanted Cameron Diaz, and that she's a great actress, but it wouldn't have worked for the story that they were trying to tell. And eventually they were going through different studios. Disney wanted to have it with like some guy learning kung fu at like a Native American reservation, just not like Desperado or El Mariachi at all. But Sony really brought open doors to having the story told the way it was meant to be told, and I'm glad. It's pretty much a south of the border Pulp Fiction with an amazing soundtrack by Los Lobos and Tito and Tarantula. Awesome, awesome soundtrack with some music featured from Santana. I love the action scenes, Cheech's role, Steve Buscemi. In walks the biggest fucking Mexican I've ever seen. And then Bucho, the bad guy, yeah, just like, does anybody know the number to the phone in my car? And then I love Antonio Banderas fighting where the guy's trying to shoot him and he's like missing. He's like, you missed me! And he's like, him and Salma Hayek's chemistry, having 2 Latin leads as the male and female. Oh my god. Was it nice to see that representation for the first time, but also, again, like Spy Kids, anybody can relate to it. It doesn't matter if it's Latin leads, if it's south of the border. It's a story that feels very much like a Western, like the Dollars trilogy, Man with No Name. Desperado is that archetype, and I just love it, and it has its twists and moments. Danny Trejo throwing knives, wow. It all around has great story, great cinematography, and just everything about it just feels good watching. It's like a really fantastic action movie. And again, El Mariachi was a great start, but Robert Rodriguez really showed what he was capable of with Desperado. He took it a step further now that he had a proper budget, studio backing it, everything, and he really just went to town. And who could forget that opening scene? I love that song. And then the end, where you find out that the villain's actually his brother. Everything about the movie is just a great experience, great action movie, and I enjoy it. The first Robert Rodriguez film I saw. Number 2 on my list will be probably one of the greatest graphic novel adaptations, and that is Sin City. Yes. You have Frank Miller coming in to co-direct with Quentin Tarantino as a guest director. Bruce Willis, Jessica Alba, Clive Owen, Brittany Murphy, Michael Clark Duncan, Rosario Dawson, Powers Booth. A great cast. Benicio del Toro. I mean, this film is just filled with people. Josh Hartnett, Elijah Wood, and Mickey Rourke. Wow. You know, it's funny because everybody was talking about Mickey Rourke being back in The Wrestler, and I'm like, I've seen Mickey Rourke back. He was in Once Upon a Time Mexico, and he was Marv in Sin City. It is basically a graphic novel come to life. Black and white, the way it's filmed. Other films have tried to mimic it. It had its own unique style, and I just love the film. Bruce Willis's role. Everything about this movie is just perfect. It brings what you love about the graphic novel and pits it in real life. That's all you wanted. Comic books, graphic novels are basically storyboards. And we've been waiting for somebody just to adapt that on screen, and that's what Robert Rodriguez did. He brought a graphic novel onto screen and made one of the most definitive adaptations ever made. Sin City is a good pulp comic with short stories, and all of it flows together in one universe with these different characters. It is a visual spectacle and among one of my favorite films of his. It's amazing. If you have not seen Sin City or read the graphic novel, check them out. Number 1 on my list, still to this day, I love, and I mean love, Once Upon a Time in Mexico. The Mexico trilogy ends on what is pretty much the good, the bad, and the ugly of the series. I absolutely love this film. everything with the story. In a way, you get some gaps filled in between Desperado and Once Upon a Time in Mexico, so it's like a third and fourth film. Johnny Depp just knocks it out of the park as Agent Sands. Salma Hayek's back for a limited role. Cheech is back, Danny Trejo. Robert Rodriguez got William Dafoe to speak Spanish, and it actually sounded convincing. Mickey Rourke's introduced. Ruben Blades. Just an all-around all-star cast. Eva Mendes in one of her earlier roles. And of course, Antonio Banderas back as the Mariachi. Great stuff. Enrique Iglesias, and the soundtrack's great. Selma Hayek, Cynthia Miamor. You have Me Gustas Too by Manu Chao. Just all around great stuff. And then, of course, Robert Rodriguez doing the score. I love the church shootout. That little dun 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 dun. The fake arm. Just everything about this movie just puts a smile on your face. Are you a Mexican or a Mexicant? And then, like him saying, shoot the cook. And stuff like that. And then I love it with Tito's cameo as a cab driver. He's just like, what do you mean? You can't go any further. It's a freaking coup de grace out there. And he's like, I have no eyes, fuck mook. I can't see. And I just love that moment with Johnny Depp and then him suiting up. Him wearing the CIA shirt. Just everything about Once Upon a Time Mexico is epic, feel good, and really just ends the Mexico trilogy with a bang. Not only that, it's one of the earliest digital films. George Lucas showed Robert Rodriguez the camera, digital camera, and George Lucas, as you know in my other reviews, he filmed Attack of the Clones with a digital camera. Once Upon a Time Mexico was done as well. And it was filmed in 2001, but was not released until 2003. Great movie. I mean, everything with the sunshot, just a whole bunch of moments I can't go over unless I review it on its own. Once Upon a Time Mexico is just one of those movies you watch and you can enjoy over and over and never get stale, and it just puts a smile on your face. You're like, that was an amazing movie. And yeah, Once Upon a Time in Mexico is my favorite Robert Rodriguez movie. And it was the first film that I saw the special features to that I realized filmmaking is a possibility for anyone. And that is ultimately the film that really pushed me forward to become a filmmaker. Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, I think I will definitely go see on the Cinco de Mayo. I'm gonna watch this, eat some enchiladas, do something. I don't know, cook. We'll see. But yeah, that is just my top 10 favorite Robert Rodriguez films. I just wanted to bring up and share for everyone. If you like this video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and in the comments below, let me know what are some of your favorite Robert Rodriguez movies. Just feel free to let me know. Again, this is my personal preference, and I love all his movies, but Once Upon a Time Mexico is like my ultimate favorite. I just love everything about that film. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Check my other My Favorite segments in which I go over my favorite Star Trek films, Alien films, Underworld, Batman video games films. Anyway, that is it for today on the Cinco de Mayo. And yeah, have a happy Cinco de Mayo out there, everyone. And again, go check out some of Robert Rodriguez's films and check out Rebel Without a Crew. It is such an amazing novel. And then after all that, if you're a filmmaker, go ahead and make that film. Use what you have and check out the movies. Anyways, till next time.